What's up, everybody? It's your guy KP coming back at you for another episode of the Sexy Suburban Dad. And with me, you know the big homie, riding shotgun, Fresh Prince of Fort Smith, Van Buren's own, used to run the town with the legendary Joe T. Perry and the iconic Achilles Simpson. My guy, your guy, everybody's guy, Sweet Lou. Lou, what's up, bro?
Hey, man, what's going on, KP, man?
I can't call it. Just another day in quarantine. You know, I'm a bald brother, so I ain't got to worry about that haircut, but I did.
Man, look, I'm looking real grimy right now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all excuse my appearance, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's the rugged look.
Looking grimy. But, you know, hey, they opened up the barbershops. I still ain't going. Not for another 2 months.
Hey, man, hey, just like...
Not for another 2 months, man. Look, I'm telling you right
Bro,
now.
you can turn on a YouTube video and learn how to cut your hair, man. It's trial and error, but you know, your boy... I had to shave my facial hair, man. I'm trying to get back in shape, and I don't want to run around here looking like a grown baby or an overgrown Cabbage Patch Kid. So, you know, I got the little Shannon Sharp soul patch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, bro. Nah, I'm going to let it ride, man. I only let professionals touch it. You know what I mean? So
I heard that. Got to keep the hairline intact, man. You don't want to look like...
the hairline is... You see the hairline,
I see that,
bro.
man. I see that. Hey, you hold on to it, man. You know me.
Hold on to it.
My hairline started going back a little bit, man. And I'm like, yo, I ain't
man,
finna play the LeBron game. It ain't enough Beijing in the world that can save me.
Hey, sometimes it takes it early, you know what I mean?
Hey, but I still look young, though. I ain't tripping. But, hey.
Oh, yeah, already.
So today, very special episode, man.
Very special episode.
As we know, we lost one of the all-time great, and I don't even want to put him in a category by saying black film directors. You know what I'm saying? We lost.
Nah, man. He definitely a god, and yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, he is a black filmmaker.
Oh yes,
he's definitely in a small group of individuals, no matter what color, man. When it comes to the quality of content that he put out, the substance that he put out. And you know, definitely the work that he left us with, man. You know what I'm saying? He got us a lot of classic movies, a lot of classic you know, he put a lot of rappers on, man. We got, you know, definitely got to get into that, because you got to think the world wouldn't be this, you know, the world wouldn't see Ice Cube acting, Tupac acting without this.
See, I ain't even revealed the name yet. You giving it away, man.
Hey, man, I want people to think like who he talking about.
If you don't know, you should know. Of course, we're talking about the if directors were like how we rank basketball players, definitely one of the GOAT, man. We talking John Singleton. If you don't know who John Singleton is, you should know who John Singleton is. Massive impact on the culture, period.
Oh,
all
yeah,
day.
No, for sure. Man, all day, every day, man. He definitely took hood culture and put it out there and made it mainstream, man. You gotta think, man, like when you think about classic movies like Boys in the Hood, you know, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, you know what I mean? Like, those are films.
Rosewood.
Yeah, man, Rosewood for sure. You know what I mean? Those are films, man, that are delicate. But man, he put it out there though. You know what I'm saying? And he put the truth out there. If not, he didn't sugarcoat it in any way, any shape or form. He didn't water it down in any shape or form, man. He definitely put out.
He gave it to you raw, and he gave it to you real.
Nah, for sure. Gave it to you raw and gave it to you straight, man. And that's why he's well respected.
Straight no chaser. But we lost him around a year ago, and so on the anniversary of his death, we want to talk about just his legacy and his work. And a lot of people don't know this, but not only was John Singleton the first black director nominated for Best Picture, but he was also the youngest, man. Got nominated for Best Director at age 24 for Boys in the Hood back in '91.
Boys in the Hood, but you gotta think, man. Think how young Ice Cube was in Boys in the Hood, bro. Like, that's crazy.
That was Jerry Curl Ice Cube, man. That was before we got Craig from Friday with just a fade Ice Cube. That was Jerry Curl NWA Cube.
That was NWA Cube, exactly. That was America's Most Wanted Ice Cube, man. They don't know nothing about that.
Yes, sir. But man, America's Most Wanted turned 30 years old today, man. They don't know about that nigga you love to hate.
Poetic Justice just turned 25, man. I'm telling you, man, he out here just black excellence at his finest, man.
The crazy part about it, John Singleton's films stand the test of time, still relevant today in 2020.
Yeah, oh yeah. If you haven't seen, I mean, I don't know who hasn't seen Boys in the Hood, but like think about Higher Learning, man. Higher Learning definitely is one of those movies, man. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely a must watch, because it takes you in the culture of the 90s, you know what I'm saying, as, you know, black individuals, as an athlete, you know, white individuals, on no matter if they're on a scholarship or just attending school, the melting pot of, you know, how they come together from people from different areas, different hoods. You know what I'm saying? Coming together and not ever, you know, a black person being in the hood doesn't know how to act around most white folks. Most white folks who've been in suburbs don't know how to act around most blacks.
Yeah, it was real. It hit home, man.
You know what I mean?
It definitely hit home.
It's just real life situations, man. And he took that, he turned it into like a masterpiece, bro. Because, you know, it dealt with a lot of issues, dealt with a lot of racism, a lot of interracial relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Like sexual assault, dealt with that.
Sexual assault, definitely. You know, dealt with like the professor-student teacher relationship. You know what I mean?
Class.
How hard it is how hard it is for just both sides. Man, people think just because, you know, if you don't come from the hood that you have it good. That's not always the case, man. You know what I mean? Everybody struggles in some way, shape, or form.
And it was definitely a thought-provoking film. And so one thing, I think, if you kind of look at directors, especially black directors, we have, you know, it seems John Singleton and Spike Lee are like our Jordan and Kobe. And now you got to shout out a couple of other folks, man. Like, you know, Robert Townsend, the homie, he put a lot of people on. Okay. You know, Antoine Fuqua, you know, he did a lot of stuff. Got to give it up for the man, F. Gary Gray. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I think out of that small fraternity, and if I'm missing anybody else, you know, I'm remiss for that. You know,
we're not trying to be disrespectful.
Not at all, but you know, it's just I think he's definitely at the top. And let's just go in, you know, talk his first film. I mean, it's really hard to knock it out of the park your first time, and I think he hit a grand slam with Boys in the Hood. And so what a lot of people don't know, John Singleton, you know, went to school at USC. He was actually, when he was writing the script for this, he was an intern on the Arsenio Hall show, and that's how he hooked up with Cube. They talked the project and got it rolling. And one other person that he put on that you would never guess, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, I was about to say Lawrence Fishburne, but you got to think about the amount of actors that he has worked, well-known actors.
You'll never guess where he met him, though. I read this earlier, it blew my mind.
Where did he meet Lawrence Fishburne?
He was a production assistant on the set of Pee-wee's Playhouse, man. I used to watch that joint back in the day on CBS at my granny and granddaddy house.
Yeah,
you know,
he was a producer.
Lawrence Fishburne was Cowboy Curtis, man, and they linked up, and so
now, you know, back then he was Larry Fishburne.
Yeah, Larry. That's
he was
right.
Larry Fishburne back then. You know what I'm saying? Before he became Lawrence, he was Larry
Fishburne. You're correct.
But you got to think of, like, look, Sam Jackson, you know, he worked with him on Shaft.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mark Wahlberg, he worked with him on Ford Brothers.
Omar Epps.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
Omar Epps, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, man, like, Don Cheadle, he worked with him. You know what I'm saying? And the list just goes on, bro. Like, you're talking about, you know, not only did he just help discover some of these people, but he still maintained a relationship.
You know the cool thing about John Singleton, before we really get into the catalog and break down his filmography, he always gave back. Because if you think about it, one of our favorite shows that me, you, Beatty, Q, we always talk about is Snowfall. And he gave us that last gift before he left this world, man. And he put on a lot of folks from classic movies, as well as some of the folks in the new generation like Damson Idris, man. You know, he plucked him out of obscurity and put him on the mainstream as Franklin Saint. So, you know, that's something that that's a testament to his legacy, man.
Yeah, man, and I hope they do him justice, man. You know what I mean? With the following seasons, you know what I mean? Because right now they're in a great spot. I hope they don't fuck it up. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Ruin it, because, you know what I mean? Because, like, right now they're in a great spot, but, you know how shows go, man. When you get a change in production or change in writing or whatever, you know what I mean? Or somebody else is overseeing it, they don't have the same vision.
Yeah, they kind of take what's the word I'm looking for? They take his vision, man, and they almost bastardize it almost. But right, I don't think they'll do that with him.
You know what I'm saying? You don't see where he's going, so you just make changes to kind of create your vision. And then the shit could, you know, it could be great or it could be trash, bro. You never.
And we're gonna have to break down Snowfall, man, into long form. We're gonna have to get another one of these round tables going, man, and talk about that since we're big fans of the show. But man,
yeah, definitely.
Let's talk Boys in the Hood, man. 1991 when it dropped. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I had young parents at the time. First time I saw Boys in the Hood, I was 6 years old, man. I remember it like it was yesterday.
I was so young when I seen Boys in the Hood, and I should not have watched it as early as I did.
Nah.
I was probably 8 or 9 myself, but you know, definitely had a big impact on me because, you know, our version of the hood is not their version of the hood. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, one thing we didn't have to worry about is if we walked to school, we walked to the store, we didn't have to worry about getting shot. We didn't have to worry about gangs and shit like that, man. This
Niggas wasn't gang banging and we in Arkansas Van Buren, bro. They was playing out there.
So it's definitely I definitely seen the other side of it and realized, you know what I mean, they had real struggles, man. You can't wear certain colors, you know what I mean? You couldn't wear certain sports team shirts and hats, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it was real out there, man.
It was real, and that's crazy, bro. Because imagine, being a Raiders fan and not being able to wear that hat because this gang on this side of the, this side of the hood that's their colors or that's what they wear. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah, and the thing is, man. So even though I saw it at such a young age, my parents, like, they were in their 20s, like mid to late 20s. When that movie dropped, and so they were watching it. I didn't understand it. I was the only child at the time, so when mom and daddy used to sit up and watch HBO, I used to get up there with them and watch it.
Right.
Probably didn't have no business watching it, but
no, probably not. But
nah.
I processed it pretty well, man. Like I think the only thing I didn't understand when I was that young is when the kid goes to the store and he was like, "Why you going to the store? Because you ain't got no money." I didn't understand like he was in there stealing.
Well, let's break that down, man, because I've seen Boys in the Hood like 100 times, man, and it's just you learn something new every time you watch it, man. It's got a lot of themes that they deal with. So one thing off the bat, Trey's parents, while they're not together, responsible people, Trey's acting out in school, Mom Dukes, Angela Bassett, another legend in the game. She sends him to go live with Furious Styles, and you see what a father should be from Furious Styles, because he was a man, no nonsense, but he just broke the game down to Trey when he was a little kid. And then you see like Ricky and Doughboy and Little Chris and all these other characters who don't have that structure.
Didn't have that structure in their life, didn't have them fathers in their life, man. And it shows you, you know what I mean, they had a good co-parenting relationship, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it also showed you the single mother side of it, because while Trey was brought up, to be respectful, he had a job, stuff like that. Doughboy was on the other side of it because, his mother didn't coddle him, so she kind of left him out there to kind of grow up on his own. So here he is selling drugs and everything like that, because that's the only thing he knows. He doesn't have that structure. He doesn't have that man in his life telling him, keeping him straight. He's just trying to figure it out on his own. And that's just the direction that he goes. You know what I mean? And
then, of course, he didn't have that God-given ability like Ricky had. Ricky was had a football scholarship, and it shows a lot from that perspective too. Ricky, teenage parent. He's got an opportunity to go to school, but then he's having second thoughts about what to do. He sees the military commercial and thinking that he should do that. And it's just really, man, it really just talks to you in a lot of ways. If we can't forget about Nia Long being in this. That was the first time I saw her too, as well as a lot of other people. Regina King, Yo-Yo was in it. So a lot of different folks, but it just had a lot of themes, man, just about growing up, a coming of age story, but also it had a lot of things for parents, things for children, things about the situation at the time, the gang wars and all of that. So it was just one of those movies, I believe. You can really see why it was nominated for an Academy Award, why John Singleton got nominated for that, man, because, hey, it was the shit. Boys in the Hood was the shit.
Yeah, no, for sure, man, and especially touching back on Ricky's situation, you know what I mean? There's so many individuals, that came up like Ricky. That's that mentality is the only way to get out of the hood is either
you ball or you go to the service.
Or you go to service. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me, because it's like, there's so many other ways to get out of a situation like that.
And I think that's what they showed with Trey, man. Because, Trey was like a good student, and I think he almost went down that path after Ricky died. And I ain't trying to be funny, but it's like every time I watch Boys in the Hood, man, I think like, oh shit, Ricky gonna get away, man, and then they just get him, man.
No, bro.
Like, fuck.
I be yelling at the TV like, hey, bro, don't go to the store, man. Just stay at home, bro.
Nigga was drinking the hell out that milk, man.
Man,
chilling.
What, eating them ding dongs, bro. Hey, chill, bro.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though. Yeah, it shows you. Basically, it does show you three different It shows you 3 different characters. Man.
Shout out Morris
the,
Chestnut. Can't forget about him.
Man, you gotta think Morris Chestnut, Cuba Gooding Jr., bro. He had an all-star cast. He didn't even realize it.
Exactly. I mean, the first time we saw Cuba Gooding Jr., he was getting a fake haircut and coming to America. And now look at him. Well, I mean, Cuba Gooding Jr. today, he ain't doing so well.
He was an extra in Coming to America.
Not trying to get too sidetracked.
Okay.
But I saw this movie on Hulu. Check it out. Everybody out here, check it out. It's called Booksmart. It's almost like a spiritual sequel to Superbad because Jonah Hill's sister's in it.
Oh, and I see Booksmart.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Cuba Gooding's son is the main dude that she ended up liking.
Okay.
Yeah, the VP. Because I was like,
That's
man.
cool.
I was like, man, this light skinned nigga look goofy as shit. And then I was like, Mason Gooding. And then, yeah, that's Cuba's son. But yeah, man. But
yeah, no, it really shows you, man. Like, you know, had 3 different perspectives because it had Trey, the straight laced guy. You know what I mean? You got the athlete, and then you got the hood kid. And what's crazy is they're all super close. You know what I mean? Like, they're all friends, but they're just going in different directions. You know what I mean? So it shows you, like, you can still have your own identity just because your friends are out,
right?
You know, doing
even
one thing.
Like the minor characters, you know. I mean, like who was it was Lil Chris. You had Dookie, who always
Lil Chris. You had Duke.
And then Doughboy, yeah, because that was his crew. Yeah. And then they all kicked it. You know, I think they all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they all kicked it because they were all the same age. Doughboy just didn't go to school. You know. What I'm saying?
Right. And you know, because he got out of like either juvie or youth camp or something. And then you know, Lil Chris was in the wheelchair, and then you know, Dookie was just there. But I think everybody. One thing that always stuck out to me was Furious Styles' speech over gentrification and just breaking that whole thing down. That was the first time we had ever heard something like that, man, in a movie.
It was so crazy because he did definitely hit the nail on the head. Like, if you watch it now,
that's what's happening.
And that's exactly what's happening. Yeah,
yep.
So that's definitely a strong message because I was just like, you know, when the first time I heard it, didn't really understand what he was talking about, but the more and more I watched it, more and more sink in, you know what I'm saying?
And I would say this, I'm going to say something else, and I mean this, I'm going to cuss because I mean it. Right. It is a motherfucking crime that Lawrence Fishburne has never won an Academy Award.
Man, Lawrence Fishburne been putting in work for a long time, bro. He's been in a lot of good movies, bro.
He should have won one definitely for What's Love Got to Do with It, but
he played the shit out of Ike Turner.
That boy.
I mean, I'm talking about splitting image of Ike Turner, bro.
In fact, it's fucked up that Angela Bassett hadn't won one either. I don't think she has.
Nah. I think she may have came close.
Yep. But
yeah,
no, man.
I mean, Lawrence Fishburne, bro, he's a solid actor, man. Solid.
Definitely.
All the way
I mean,
across the board.
This movie still relevant, man. Will always stand the test of time, in my opinion. And it's just one of those all-around classics to me, man. It doesn't matter if you're black, white. Like, everybody can learn something from Boys in the Hood and take something away from it, man. I think that's just really... And it was just such, you know, the soundtrack. I mean, everything about this movie, man, just... It's in my collection here, man. I got like a couple of John Singleton movies, even some of the ones we're going to get into that maybe we wasn't feeling. But it was just, I mean, it's like the equivalent of your first time at bat, your first time ever playing baseball, and you hit a grand slam, man. To be 24 years old and make a masterpiece like that, it's like releasing Thriller first. And you always think, wow, how can you follow that up? And then he makes another banger right after that in Higher Learning, man.
Man, look, you know, the difference between him and you mentioned Antoine Fuqua, right?
Right.
Antoine Fuqua, if y'all don't know, made Training Day.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Denzel movie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it didn't hurt that you got Denzel Washington in your film, but at the same time, it was a hell of a story. You know what I mean? No, I feel like you would have got the same praise no matter who was acting in it. You just happen to have one of the best actors on earth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the difference between him and John Singleton is that when Antoine Fuqua made Training Day, we kind of didn't hear from him for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, how do I? You know, it's that classic album, man. We talk about it all the time here on When the Smoke Clears. If you guys check us out, we're talking about, you know, people making albums. Sometimes you make a classic, man. You can never fulfill that classic. Man. You know what I mean? And obviously, Training Day is, you know, one of the most, you know, classicest movies you can ever think of. There's so, you know, King Kong got shit on me is one of the most famous lines ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, but he ain't got the catalog that Singleton has. In fact, skipped over.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
that's
okay.
What I'm saying. Like if you think about Boys in the Hood, and it's up there with Training Day as far as the classic.
Oh
goes.
yeah.
You know, and that was John Singleton's first movie, and that was Antoine Fuqua's first movie. But then John Singleton came back. That's what makes him a great, because he came back with another classic,
Poetic Justice.
Poetic Justice. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like you got to think he did 3 classics back to back. Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice,
and Higher Learning.
And we're not saying it just because he passed, bro. This is just true facts.
These were bangers. Like, we gave him his flowers while he was still here, man. He had bangers out there, too.
These was bangers in the 90s. Like, you can't take that away from him, bro.
In fact, he had bangers in the 90s, early 2000s.
Right.
He had one that we gonna talk about that's part of a $1 billion movie franchise, which it was alright.
It was alright. And not only that, you know,
you don't like that nigga Tyrese.
You know I can't stand Tyrese.
Hey, but Baby Boy was a classic
Baby
too.
Boy
man.
is a classic, bro.
It's a
I hate to
classic.
say it. It makes my stomach turn when I say it. But Baby Boy is a classic, bro.
Hey, 2 things about Sweet Lou, man. 2 things he don't fuck with: little niggas and Tyrese Gibson.
Tyrese Gibson, bro. I can't fuck with him, bro.
Man, I don't know, man. But
let's get into Poetic Justice.
Yeah, man. So starring Janet Jackson, the GOAT, Tupac Shakur, legendary Tupac Shakur, Regina King, once again in this one.
Regina King, and I mean,
Joe Torre.
And that's how he builds, man. He builds that nice supporting cast around that. Because you got to think, man, this was Janet Jackson's first movie. Tupac is fresh off of Above the Rim. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he made this before Above the Rim.
He made this before
Yeah,
Above the
because
Rim?
Poetic Justice came out in 93, Above the Rim came out in 94. He was fresh off of Juice. Yep.
Fresh off of Juice, yeah.
Another classic movie. We're going to go into these classics in a later episode.
Boy, if Juice ain't a classic, I don't know what the fuck is a classic, nigga. Anyway, fresh off of Juice, you know what I mean? So you got the hype after that. But you got Janet Jackson, man, you know what I'm saying? And at the time, was at the height of her career, you know what I mean?
Pretty much. I mean, that was before, like, Velvet Rope, but she was on. Janet was the shit.
She was on. She just dropped a nice little album. It was nice.
Yep.
You know, she was a Jackson, obviously, so she's getting mad hype for that.
And Pac was climbing up the ladder, because this is after Strictly for My Niggas.
Right, exactly. And it was just one of those things where it was just a kind of a perfect kind of chemistry, you know what I'm saying? Because they're from 2 different sides of the world, you know what I'm saying? Janet Jackson was raised, you know what I mean? She was already considered royalty at that point in time.
Right.
You know, even though she had just dropped 1 album, she was part of the Jacksons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Michael had been doing this thing, Jackson 5 been doing that thing for so long, so she was already in that genre. And you got Tupac, an up-and-comer. He was kind of on the rough side, you know what I'm saying? But he was trying to stand up for his people.
Look, man, you know you're a good director when you can make a cross-country trip in a mail truck interesting.
No, interesting.
I mean, that's for real.
It was basically a road trip is what it was, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it has classic things in it, like seeing the barbecue. You know what I'm saying?
Cousin.
Yeah, everybody cousins. You see the barbecue. You see
Frank, a girl, I don't give a fuck.
You see all the black people, man. It's just like it's almost.
That's our culture, man. That's our culture.
Right. That shit wouldn't happen today, bro. That's what's the sad part about it. Back in the day, if you seen a group of black folks at a park grilling out, and you just walked up, they're gonna welcome you with open arms.
It reminded me that time I went to your family reunion, bro. We're like, yo,
exactly, man.
Yeah, I was like, KP, what you doing over there? Get here too. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, exactly, man. We treated you like family, bro.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? That's what we do. You know, you hear.
Shout out to the Pages and the Willises.
Hey, man, you know, so you know how we do. It's like you here, you get to eat what we eat. You get to sit at the table where we sit, man. You ain't no visitor, bro. You family. So it's like we taking pictures, you in the pictures. You know what I mean?
Yep, but man, it's just, you know, and that was one thing, man. I know Janet Jackson had acting roles before, like on Different Strokes and all that, but she did a thing in this, man. And Pac did his thing. Yeah.
No, they did, man. And I know they had like difficulties on set at first.
Yeah, because she didn't want to do a kissing scene with him without him getting the AIDS test and all that.
And she didn't know, you know, she warmed up after she actually met the guy and got to talk to him, but she was just on the outside looking in, like, I don't know this individual. He been doing all this and that, and that shit. You gotta think that shit's kind of crazy, man. Just to judge somebody like that, don't even really know him, don't even really give him a shot, but you want them to take a drug test just to do a kissing scene. You can't even catch.
And I forgot Maya. I know, right? Like, come on, man. And Maya Angelou was in this too. I totally forgot a lot of classic actors.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say he even reused the guy who shot Ricky in Boys in the Hood. Which, man, if you ever like go on YouTube, his name is Lloyd Avery II. Crazy story, man. Unfortunately, he passed away, but he was into some wild stuff. So check that out, man. Yeah, it was dark. But yeah. But it's just with this movie, man. I mean, he knocked it out of the park once again. So it's like hitting home runs back to back, man.
Back to back, man. But it's basically a love story, though. You know what I'm saying? It's about two individuals, two different sides of the world.
Justice and Lucky.
Yeah, Justice and Lucky, man. And it's really just they got hooked up together by mutual friends. You know what I mean? They got kind of put in a situation where they had to hang out with each other for a couple of days and. End up falling in love, bro. That's crazy shit. But it happens every day.
Yep, it does. But man, moving on. That's all you can say about Poetic. Just dope movie, man. I mean,
it's a dope movie.
That's what it is. It's a love story. Yeah,
it's a love story, but you got to watch it though because it's a kind of unique type of love story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's real. It's a Baltimore love thing, like the 50 Cent song. But it's dope, man. I definitely got it over here. I'm looking at it now. But the next movie, man, is one of my favorite John Singleton films outside of Boys in the Hood, Higher Learning. And that was shit, man. I mean, we met in college. We went to a college town.
Yep.
I based almost all of my experiences in college on movies before I got there, man. But Higher Learning was just deep, mid-90s.
Mid-90s?
I think it's like, I don't know what school it was based on, but you got like Omar Epps, Tyra Banks, Christy Swanson, man, a nigga from the program, the buff dude Cole Hauser, and I mean all these factions
Ice
like
Cube.
blacks, feminists, Ice Cube, Busta Rhymes, like
Busta Rhymes,
a lot of different people. But it deals with all types of issues as we alluded to, racism because you got the neo-Nazis. Fucking Michael Rappaport's in this shit.
Rappaport, he did his thing in this movie.
He
bro.
did.
He did his thing in this movie.
But you know what the
like when somebody's acting is so good that you literally hate them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Before I understood, movies like I do now,
right?
I fucking hated Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, because of this one movie.
Because of this one movie, bro. He portrayed a skinhead to the T.
Because he was a lame.
Right, to the T where it was like, I really don't like this nigga.
Yeah, because he was just trying to fit in, and then, everybody didn't want shit to do with him, and then, he ended up.
And you got to think, man, what happens in the movie, like I said, if you haven't seen Higher Learning, we're about to drop some spoilers, but go see the movie because it's just...
It's deep.
It's on Netflix, but it's deep. It's deep. But shit, you got to think, man, shit like that happens all the time, man. On both sides,
right?
Not just not just the white side, but black sides too. Because you got to think, Michael Rappaport's character, an individual didn't have any friends. You know what I'm saying? Was hanging out in different situations, and every situation he just couldn't get along with. The people. He tried to hang out with the preppy guys.
Yep.
Right. He was an awkward guy. He tried to hang out with the preppy guys. That didn't work. He tried to hang out with the goth guys. That didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So he ends up falling in with the white supremacists, man.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? To be able to fit in like that, you're going to do shit that you would normally never do. And that's what he ends up doing because, he finally finds people that accepts him, but he has to do this. He has to hate blacks.
He hate everybody really in the trip
well,
out
he
part.
Hate everybody
yep, but
really,
blacks
but blacks in general, yeah. So he ends up getting into Omar Epps' character because that's his roommate. And then at the end, man, sadly to say, he ends up killing Tyra Banks, bro, which was the saddest shit ever.
Deja!
Bro, when I'm talking about Omar Epps, he was crying in that thing. I felt bad for the kid.
Yes, sir. And the interesting part, man, everybody that was a Nazi in Higher Learning, they Jewish in real life. So that was kind of ironic. I don't know if he did that on purpose or what.
Yeah.
But
no, I don't think he did. I think he
might have. That was clever.
He was looking for bright young actors, but if he did, that was clever.
But it's about a lot of different things, man. I mean, you have Omar Epps' character who's there on a scholarship, but then it's partial, and he has to really earn it. You have Ice Cube's character Fudge. He's been in school for like 7 years, but
he's like the super smart whiz kid. So like on the outside looking in, you think he's a slacker, but really. He low-key getting his doctorate.
Right.
He's really not telling anybody. You know what I'm
saying? Exactly.
He's just one of those guys that he's trying to educate these kids and Omar Epps' character, like you said, man, that's the like the most crushing thing in the world is like when you come out of high school and you rated number 1, you know what I'm saying? You think in your head you hot shit until you step on that college campus.
And then you like everybody else.
Right, exactly. And you realize there's 100 of yous already there. You know what I mean? And you thought you had a full ride scholarship, but now you only got a partial because, you know, they just didn't have enough scholarships. So, like, what do? Do you transfer and try to go to another school, or do you earn your stripes? Because he walking on the campus like, man, I already made it.
Yep.
But end up realizing, like, man, there's already, like I said, there's already 100 guys already doing the same shit.
And it was something like with his financial aid, because that's how him and the old girl had to be excused from the professor class, who's played by Lawrence Fishburne. And then, you know, it's like a lot of race relations because, you know, it's the one kind of surfer white dude who, you know, he's cool with what was his character name in this?
Who you talking?
Malik. Malik.
Yeah, Malik.
Well, it was the one guy that was cool with him, and then, you know, they kind of had a falling out because, you know, Malik started hanging with Cube and them and started getting real woke. And then, you know, the one dude's like, man, you trying to say I'm like Remy and all that? And then
because, you know what I'm saying, when you look at it and you run into an individual like a Remy, Michael Rappaport's character, and you start to look at it like, oh man, this must how all of these white people feel.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
Same thing for Remy. He got woke in a sense of, you know, realizing that, you know, these people that he's hanging out with, they really discuss interracial relationships, you know, blacks, Jews, all that kind of shit. So he's seeing things in a different light that he's never seen. So in a sense, he feels like he's woke. So now, you know, when he sees Omar Epps, Malik's, you know, pictures on the wall of Black Power and everything like that, he's getting offended. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And now he's starting to spew that racial hate that his friends,
then,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, and then he like messed up. He vandalized the Jewish roommate stuff. And then we gotta hit that Chrissy Swanson too, man. Her character and all the things she went through. You know, getting raped and then.
Well, actually, you know what I'm saying? People need to really take a look at that situation.
Yes.
Man, because that shit happens every day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Most people think, you know, when you're talking about rape, that it has to be, you know, a random stranger, you know, pulled you in the alley.
She knew.
Yeah, it was somebody that she knew, somebody she was close with, people that she trusted. You know, she was at a party, you know what I mean? And she felt like she was in a safe place. But, you know, the shit went left.
And the thing that was crazy about it, she was going to consent. But dude, you know, he didn't wear like a rubber or something. He wasn't trying to put on no rubber. Yep, and so he just basically, you know, just raped her right there on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, he just continued after she, you know, numerous times
told her to stop.
Told her to stop, you know what I'm saying?
And that made her have a distrust in men because she started experimenting with Jennifer Connelly's character. And then, you know, Surfer Dude, she started liking him too. She's feeling him too. And so they dated a bit. And one thing, man, I did the cops in it. It really showed like racial bias by the police too, man.
It showed a lot of stuff. A lot of stop and frisk is what it showed.
Yes,
bro.
sir.
It showed, you know, a black party happening, a white party happening, and when you start getting noise complaints, no matter which side you got the noise complaint from,
right.
It's the black party that you end up shutting down.
And then like Remy put the gun in Malik's face, didn't do nothing. And then even when Remy committed the shootings, you know, spoiler alert, they were comforting him, and then they tried to like they start beating the shit out of Malik, man. So
yeah, it's Malik. Really, if you look at that situation, bro, man, I want to say John Singleton must have came to the future, bro.
Yeah,
and went back in time because that literally shows you
how it is now.
Malik's character didn't do anything wrong. Not only was not accused of anything, he was just an individual running in the school hallways. Police stopped him. Why are you running?
Right.
I didn't know you had to have an excuse to run. You know what I'm saying? This guy on the roof just shot 6 people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With a rifle.
Killed him.
You know what I'm saying? Killed him. And you're trying to console him and talk him down and, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to take care of you. But you got this black individual on this side. You know what I mean, man? It really brought a lot of things to light back then.
And that was in 95. That was 25 years ago.
25 years ago, man. And you're thinking about the same shit
today.
That we're going through now, man. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So John Singleton definitely hit it on nail on the head. But it really, you know, it really exposed it because he says he's been going through this shit for years. We just see it now because we got social media. Back then, they didn't have social media.
Right,
so
right. And Lawrence Fishburne did his thing in it too.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne, man, was a solid professor, black professor.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That really cared about his students.
And played it down the middle too. That's what I liked about it, man. Because
he played it down the middle, but he also was harder on Malik's character
because he knew he could do better, and he said
for one, he knew he could do better. Two, he was black, and two, he was an athlete, and he was trying to get it through his head that you can be more than just a black athlete.
Right.
Man. You know what I'm saying? You put your mind to it to get to these books. There's more ways to make it than just being a track star trying to make it to the Olympics. You know what I mean?
Man, it seems like every movie Omar Epps in, man, he like a black athlete trying to get through college, man. The program.
Well, you know, he ran track in college for real. I mean, dude is fast as fuck. Like,
yep.
He was really running when they was doing them scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was really on that track, bro. Like,
he don't age either, man. That nigga don't age, man.
Man, well,
I don't know what the
Omar Epps 102 years old.
He married to Keisha Spivey from Total, man. Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know, man.
Hey, man, you don't know. Hey, look at T.I. T.I. was married from. She was SWV, right?
No, I'm talking about Tiny. That was Escape. That was Escape, bro.
Escape.
Yeah.
So basically, you need to get you a '90s R&B group female.
I guess, man. I guess either that or drink a lot of water, use coconut oil. I guess, man. Whatever they doing out here.
Something out here, boy. But yeah, man. It dealt with a lot of issues that that people need to see, man. You know what I mean? Because me watching those movies as a young man, kind of got me prepared for a lot of stuff.
And it's eye opening too, man. For a lot of the experience that we had yet to experience, because at the time we was like still kids, man. I was like 10 and you was like 12 or 13 when it came out.
Right. But and also shows you, man, that movies are real life. Like I'm not gonna say all movies, but most dramas like that are based off personal experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So don't be naive when you see a movie. I'm not saying believe everything that you see, but I'm saying like there's a lot of truth in that shit. You can kind of see between the lines when you're watching these films, man.
It even draws a parallel because we actually missed this in the Boys in the Hood review, but like the self-hatred of the black cop.
Yeah,
and all that. Yeah,
so because self-hatred in the black cop because one, we hate the black cop even more because we feel like he should be on our side,
right?
And he's not. And then the self-hatred of the cop because he has to do things to black individuals that he normally wouldn't do, but he's in that code. So it's like you either with us or against us,
right?
You know what I mean? So it's a slippery slope, you know what I mean? Because originally that black individual who became a cop probably got into it to do some good, but realized real quick, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yep.
Then you got to choose a side, and it's like, you want to go to work every day being miserable and being hated, or should you want to suck it up and just let some shit slide that you normally wouldn't let slide? You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. So going through the list here, so I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really see Rosewood. I've never seen that one.
I seen Rosewood at a very
That's the
young
one with
age.
Ving Rhames, right? I have seen it. That's the joint where somebody lied on somebody saying they raped somebody and they wrote on the tape. Okay, I have seen it.
Let me break it
down for us, bro.
I seen Rosewood when I was 13, bro, and Rosewood changed my life, bro. And you're talking about an individual who grew up, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in Fort Smith, predominantly black, but went to Van Buren, a predominantly white school.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? This shit was so eye-opening, bro, because not only did it teach me about how they used to treat blacks back in the day, but it also shows you, it shows you the difference of back then of how, I guess it's the same thing, how they treated whites versus how they treated blacks. Even, not all white. It also showed me all white people are not the same, because you see the individuals that had the blacks in there helping them with the. So you got to think this movie took place. Man, Rosewood took place, I want to say, early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Early 1900s. But essentially, it's about Ben Rhames' character. He was in the military, but he was a drifter. And he was kind of just floating through town. But he was trying to find, just floating because he didn't have any family, anything like that. But he ended up stopping in Rosewood. And, met some blacks, looking for work. But, he was already a man. Like I said, he was in the military, so he already had money. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like the regular poor black individual that lived in Rosewood. You know what I mean? So he was there when he got there, he was doing a lot to help the black community. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, what happens is there's a white lady who's having an affair on her husband with another
Plot
white individual. Okay, her husband comes home early. No, I'm sorry. She's having an affair with the individual. The gentleman tells the lady, "I don't want to do this anymore," and she says, "If you don't continue to do this, I'm going to scream rape." He says, "I'm done." He walks out, and she legitly screams rape. However, when her husband comes home, she doesn't want to admit that she's having an affair. You know what I mean? So she says that a black person raped her. Okay, so they basically tear through Rosewood trying to find the individual that raped her. And by the end of the movie, Rosewood is burnt down. There's a lot of dead black folks. Then Rames comes to the rescue, so there's a lot of dead white folks as well because he was in the military, knows how to handle himself.
Right.
And they band together to get out of Rosewood. But by the end of the movie, the white man realizes that his wife was lying from the beginning because they couldn't find, the accusations that she was saying just didn't add up. They couldn't find the individual that she described. They didn't have any proof. She didn't have any marks or anything on her that considered rape. So at the end of the movie, he ends up whooping her ass because she lied from the beginning, bro. It's a crazy movie, but it's a very good movie.
Especially where we from, man. That's eye opening because, I mean, the Emmett Till incident only happened 70 something years ago. So that's still pretty recent, and
it shows you, man, that they really went through the whole town with no proof. You know what I mean? No person of interest. I mean, who she described, there was nobody in town that looks like that. But instead of them, but they just went through and just started burning houses and hanging folks. And you know what I'm saying? It just shows you the disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Or how they look down on black folks that they could do all this on hearsay.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And the only individual that wasn't from Rosewood was Ben Rames' character. You know what I mean? He just wasn't going, man. He
wasn't having it. He
business.
was with the shit.
He took care of business. But you got to think, man, a lot of black people lost their home. A lot of black people lost their businesses. You know what I mean? Just on hearsay, bro.
Yep.
And that same thing in the Emmett Till situation where the lady, she admitted, years later that Emmett Till never looked at her.
Yep. It's crazy, man.
It's crazy. But Rosewood, definitely a good movie, man.
I'm gonna have to check that out, man. If it's, I'm gonna just go ahead and rent it, man.
You gotta
on
check
the streaming
it out, bro.
platforms. That's like the one movie on this list I have not seen, and so
I guarantee you probably have seen it. You just
didn't know what it was.
Don't remember. Yeah, 'cause I didn't even know John Singleton had rented, man. When I started loving movies, man, when I turned like 13.
Yep, so same here.
Any black character that I had seen in another movie, I was checking out their movies.
Right.
That's how I really stumbled upon great movies like White Man Can't Jump, because I seen Wesley Snipes in Do the Right Thing. You know what I'm saying?
I thought he was in Jungle Fever.
Right thing, Jungle Fever. Yeah, right. I seen Wesley Snipes in Jungle Fever. So every time I seen his name or his face, I'm like,
oh, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I end up stumbling upon greatness like White Man Can't Jump, Money Train,
New Jack City,
57, New Jack City, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And that's just how I follow suit. Same thing with Denzel Washington.
Yes, sir.
I seen him in an old movie with Ice-T called Ricochet.
Oh, Ricochet was the movie, man, with John Lithgow.
With John Lithgow, yeah,
boy,
exactly.
They put him through hell. Nicholas Stiles.
Right, exactly. So every time I seen Denzel Washington, I was like, man, I gotta check out that movie, which made me stumble upon greatness. Like, see, what was he doing back then in the 90s?
Man, hey, I'll tell you one Denzel movie that low key went hard, man. Do you remember that movie with him and Russell Crowe called Virtuosity? Where he was like in a VR computer world. Yo, watch that shit. That shit went hard, man. That was when Russell Crowe first came out, but that Ricochet, that was another movie, man, that I was way too young to be watching. That should be a top 10, man. Top 10 movies KP had no business watching.
It was a Denzel movie before he was Denzel, so
he's young Denzel.
He was young Denzel, so he didn't get the credit that he does now. Because anything that he comes out with now, people gonna watch it. But back then, he was still trying to earn his stripes.
We all know, man, Denzel went legendary once he did Malcolm X, man. That's when Denzel became legendary.
Right. No, for sure.
Most definitely.
And the reason that I watched Ricochet is because Ice-T was in it, and I seen Ice-T in New Jack City.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, man, hey, I got to put on some greatness.
Yes, sir. Hey, we all did, man. But, hey, the next joint we got to talk about is this damn Baby Boy, man. I know it pains you to say it's a good movie. But it's a good movie.
It's a good movie, man. And if you don't know, it was originally supposed to be Tupac's movie. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, he definitely, John Singleton and Tupac had a great relationship, and he basically wrote that movie for him. Now, when I heard that, and I
couldn't see it.
I couldn't see Tyrese. No. I could see Tupac playing that movie.
Playing Jody?
For sure. Yes.
Man.
Yes, for sure.
All right.
He would have put a different flavor on it than Tyrese did.
Tyrese is kind of whiny.
He was kind of weak, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Tupac would have really did that, you know what I'm saying? I think he would have kind of put a nice little flavor on it. However, man, it really was just a blessing in disguise for Tyrese to play that movie because, it is what it is, man. It's a classic movie.
Man, it definitely addressed the theme, of growing up, maturing, trying to break the black male stereotype, man, that we're not great fathers and
right. They're trying to break that stereotype, but also showing an individual like Tyrese's character who didn't grow up with a father.
Right.
Trying to father, himself and the struggles because, he doesn't know that structure. He has to create that structure.
Right. And actually it took his mother finding love in Melvin to kind of help him create that structure because even though, in the movie, his character's like 20, 21 years old, man, he's still acting like he's, 12 or 13.
Yeah, he still act like, 15, 16, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, he running the streets, teen dad, really not taking care of responsibilities.
Fucking.
Yeah, just doing what you would normally do if you were a single guy.
Yep.
But he has kids, so he really should be, trying to honor those responsibilities, no matter if he's with the mother or not. But he just didn't have that structure, that stability, because he didn't have a job. He just running the streets. He didn't have a place to stay. He's either staying with his mama or his baby mama.
Yep. One of the two.
But he still wants to run the streets and, talk to the ladies and hang out with the boys and all that. So it really shows you, the hardship of having to not grow up with a father and then turn around and be one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought it was a banger, man. I remember watching Baby Boy for the very first time. I was working at a Burger King in high school, man. It was like 11 o'clock at night. Came home, did my homework, and saw it on HBO and just watched the whole thing and laughed the whole damn time because it come off as more of a comedy than anything.
It really well.
That's
it definitely got some comedic tones.
Yep.
I was working at Malco movie theater.
The Malco,
bro. Like I was a ticket taker, and how they used to let us watch movies is when a movie came out on Friday, they would have a special showing for us on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
You get to bring up to 3 people. So of course I brought the homies. You know what I'm saying? Got the free popcorn, candy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want, I got it. And we watched it, man. And I was just, I was blown away because, I didn't start disliking Tyrese. Like I didn't dislike Tyrese before I seen Baby Boy. I started disliking him after. When he was in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Another John Singleton movie that we about to talk about.
Another John Singleton hit.
Yeah, it was a hit.
It was trash, though.
Yeah.
It was trash, bro. Like, hey, look, it was trash.
Hey, man, even Jordan had a bad game one time, bro. I mean,
look, man, I don't know. I'm not disrespecting the guy, John Singleton, man. Because he
had to get his coins, man. They were like, hey, John Singleton's a big time director.
I feel that, but that movie was trash, bro. Yeah. And I'm a big Paul Walker fan. Shout out to the guy, bro.
R.I.P.
I like Paul Walker,
man. Hey,
R.I.P. bro.
Man, let's not act like Paul Walker doesn't play the same person in every movie he's in.
I mean, he does, man. But you got to realize, from where he came from the guy from Varsity
he
Blues.
Plays the same character. He's just playing football. It was Brian O'Connor playing football. And I'm not dissing Paul Walker at all, man, because I like Paul Walker too, but our pockets ain't empty, cuz, and we ain't hungry.
And that's why I hated that fucking movie.
Our pockets ain't empty, cuz.
That's why I hate that movie, bro. I hate that because I hate the way Tyrese talked. Because you know what? He had too much confidence playing that role, bro.
Man, he really did. He really did.
I didn't like
In fact, let's just go ahead and get into it now, man. We got to get this one out of the way. Too Fast, Too Furious. I think a lot of people was probably disappointed because Vin Diesel wasn't in it.
Well, it was a disappointing movie for one. Vin Diesel wasn't in it. Okay, people didn't realize that they were doing the whole saga thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so because if you think about it, Vin Diesel wasn't supposed to be in it because he was on the run
In Mexico,
you know
yeah.
So it makes sense, but you have a character in Tyrese, man, who just didn't fill the void of everybody else that was in the first Fast and the Furious.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like just their crew, stuff like that, and you want to see, even though we knew Paul Walker was a cop, we wanted to see a little bit more of the street racing. I don't feel like it was really a street racing movie. It was like a low key action.
Yeah, they tried to make it that, man, because he ends up, hey, we know you're on the run, but we're going to reinstate you to do this job. Some people, yeah, I know a dude. And then, Tyrese is driving like Demolition Derby and shit. But
right, and he's driving a fucking Mitsubishi. Come on,
yeah, the purple joint.
Mitsubishi Eclipse. Come on, G.
Hey, the purple
but
joint.
But like, yeah, it's just and they didn't fill the void, man. And it was kind of like, I know they wanted to go in a different direction. I mean, don't get me wrong, John Singleton did his thing as far as the directing part. I mean, he can't act for him. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to discount anybody trying to get that paper, but I'm just saying, like, it was not great.
Yeah, but hey, Luda was in it though, so that put him on.
I mean, I like this, like another rapper
that was like one of his first movies too.
One of his first movies, and like I said, once it all comes together, okay, I can see it now. But back then, I just couldn't see it. I was like, man, this is just garbage.
Yeah, I was like, man, like that whole "our pockets ain't empty" cuz did it for me, man. And what was the other joints, man? It was a lot of corny ass.
It was a lot of corny lines in it, man. It was just a lot of. I mean, no, don't get me wrong, man. I love that Eva Mendes was in the movie.
Oh yeah, she was nice in there. But hey, I ain't gonna lie, man.
Maddie.
When he said "ejecto cuz," that was kind of funny though. I ain't gonna lie.
Man, no, bro, I don't like that.
Somebody made a meme better than shit. "Ejecto
I don't like that shit, man. And that started my hatred for Tyrese because he fucked up a great
He's acting
movie.
mad niggerish.
Man, just out of there, bro.
Oh my god.
It just goes downhill from that. Then here comes Waist Deep, another trash ass movie.
John Singleton did Waist Deep? Or you
No,
just going off on Tyrese now?
I'm just going on Tyrese now. You know what I'm saying?
Old Tyrese, old black tie.
Hey, bro, look, stick to singing, bro. He can sing.
But I will say this, man. Did he redeem himself? And I think the next movie we about to talk about is one of John Singleton's most underrated movies, man. Cause Four Brothers went hard as fuck.
Four Brothers did
yes,
go hard
it
as fuck. Mark Wahlberg's in the movie. Andre 3000.
Yep, Garrett Hedlund, the dude from he's the guy from Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, yep.
Your boy Tyrese.
He didn't redeem himself, but he didn't fuck it up either.
He didn't piss you off as bad. That's what you saying.
He didn't piss me off as bad. He played the role that he was supposed to play.
He was himself. He was playing himself.
He was himself. Yeah, he was playing himself.
He's pulling the Paul Walker, playing himself.
So I'll respect that a little bit more. Before Brothers was.
He was gutter, man. That was just a good ass movie.
It was just a good ass movie, bro. Like it really was. Like the story was good. I seen it in theaters.
Revenge flick, man.
And it was an indie flick too, because like John Singleton put up all the money for that.
It made an ass load off of it, man.
It made an ass load because you got to think, man, when you got to. This is before Mark Wahlberg really blew up too. Like he was already on the rise, but this really put him over the top.
And old boy was in it too, man, from 12 Years a Slave, who I can't pronounce his name.
I can't pronounce his name. I ain't even
Chiwetley Ejiofor, but he's Victor Sweet.
Yeah, Victor Sweet.
Wearing that big ass fur coat. And then you had the homie, we already said 3000, but you had the homie, man, Luda wasn't in that. I don't know why Ludacris popped in my head, but old girl from Modern Family. Sophie Vergara, she was in it too.
Sophie Vergara, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
And Terrence Howard.
Bobby, man,
Yes.
you can't kill a cop, Bobby, man. Come on, Bobby.
Another brother that I cannot stand is Terrence
Petey,
Howard.
man, why can't you stand Terrence Howard, man?
Jamie Foxx fucked Terrence Howard up for me, man. I used to listen to that Foxhole radio, and when he said that nigga sounded like he's about to cry every time he
Come on, Jamie, man. Jamie, man. What?
Yeah, I do not like Terrence Howard.
Hey, he was in that Jackson's An American Dream. I just realized that.
Terrence Howard?
Yeah, he played Jackie. If you go back in the day, Terrence Howard was in it. ABC, man. Come on, Michael, man. Let me see, man. Terrence Howard go kick my ass, bro.
She ain't kicking nobody's ass, nigga.
Come on, man. He the only nigga that whoop your ass and sound like he cried at the same time. I don't watch Empire, man, so I don't know.
I know. Hey, Big Facts Reed watch Empire,
hey,
man.
man.
We'll have to let him talk about that, man.
Baby, man, watch my show, man.
But no, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He just got a lot, man. You got to think of, he did a lot of documentaries. He did Tupac Resurrection.
Right.
You know what I mean? He did the Michael Jackson doc.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He did a doc on the LA riots. He did 30 for 30.
Yes, he did. Wasn't that the
Yeah,
one?
you know, on that's what the steroids, but the Olympics.
Carl
Lewis.
Yeah. Or the Ben Johnson one, the 9.
Ben
Yeah,
Johnson,
yeah. And then, of course, Snowfall, man, but gone too soon, man. At the age of just 51, I feel like he had a lot left in the tank, man, and a lot of jewels to bless us with. And it's just sad, you know. It's really sad that we won't get that because who knows what he would have done next, you know. And that's why you got to give folks flowers while they still here, man. And that's what we trying to do. We just trying to pay homage to the GOAT, man, to the God, John Singleton, and what he done and how it affected us. Because we movie buffs, young black men. So, of course, man, that's going to resonate with us forever.
Man, and not only that, man, but it shows you, you know, he put a lot of people on, man. And not only that, a lot of people gave him a shot.
Yeah.
But you got to think about it. Man. Ice Cube, before Boys in the Hood, he was already Ice Cube. You know what I mean? He could have been like, nah, man, I'm not fucking with you. You know, this is your first movie. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're going to... He could have downplayed it so hard, bro. But he's seen a brother that was, you know, about his business. You know what I mean? So they came together and they made something great.
Yep.
And that's what I want to. That's what I would like to see more of, man. It's like you ain't got to be out here on your, you know, by yourself. You know, either put people on, man, or give somebody a shot. Give somebody a shot that you normally wouldn't give a shot, man. Or if somebody has an idea, man, don't shoot it down just because you don't see the vision.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right. Speak that, talk that shit.
So many people on here, you know, because you got to think John Singleton inspired Ice Cube to make Friday. So if you don't have a Boys in the Hood, you don't have a Friday, bro. Two American
talk
classics.
that shit, bro. Talk that shit.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, man, it's just celebrate people, bro.
Yes, sir.
Just,
and
you know what I mean? Don't downplay them. Don't down talk them, man. Just because you don't see the vision or just because the idea seems out of the norm. You know, man, have them explain it to you, man. Tell them to make it make sense to you, bro. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that everybody's trash ass idea is gonna be great, but at the same time, it's like if you don't understand the vision, don't be like, oh, nigga, that's trash, just because you don't understand.
And you know, we need more
saying?
black filmmakers, man. One filmmaker that really reminds me a lot of John Singleton is the homie Ryan Coogler, man.
He's doing some great things,
Yep.
man. Black Panther was great.
Creed.
Like Fruitvale Station.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Creed. You know what I'm saying? And he's found that actor
Yeah.
in
Michael B.
Jordan, you know what I'm saying? That Spike Lee found in Denzel Washington,
Yep.
bro.
That
We-
John Singleton
you gotta
found in
think-
Cuba Gooding Jr., Larry Fishburne, and all them.
Exactly, man. Spike Lee can call Denzel any time of the day and be like, bro, I got something for you. And this man is going to, do whatever he's got to do to help out Spike, man, because they came in together, bro.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, and
Don't get me wrong. I mean, Denzel was already doing his thing.
Spike
Like
took
I
him
said,
to the next level, man. Without
He took
Spike,
it to the next level.
yep.
But actually, Denzel has also elevated him because, like I said, without him doing the acting, man, there would be no Spike Lee, bro.
Yes, sir. But, man, it look like, hey, we an hour in, man. We got to wrap this thing up, man. But before we out this thing, check out the Too Smart Network, www.toosmartnetwork.com, so you can catch my man on When the Smoke Clears with Big Facts Read. Got a new show, Random Nostalgia with Q and Rolo. I love that show, man. It is hilarious. It takes me back. It's like these versus battles on Instagram, man. They get on a specific year, and then it like takes me back to all the shit I used to do like back in 1997 and shit. So I love that, man.
Right.
Got to check out one of my favorite basketball podcasts, the Two Smart Dummies with Q and Big Facts. So Dr. Oda Finance Doctor doing big things.
I'm putting it out there right now for Big Facts, man. We got to do a Last Dance roundtable on Two Smart Dummies.
So I actually, if y'all know me tweaking, and if y'all notice me tweaking in the video, man, I'm sitting here looking at it right now, trying to read the closed caption. They just had Jordan 2 Sons up here, and I'm like, oh, Like it threw me off for a second, man. Cause I'm like, how's your pops Michael Jordan? And you ain't really all that great, but
bro, hey, sometimes
genetics,
it's
man.
Generation, man. You know what I'm saying? But like, we gotta do a round table last.
Most
dance,
definitely.
You know what I mean? And just we need to get the debate over with who's the GOAT for LeBron James and Michael
It ain't
Jordan.
no debate, man. Jordan the GOAT.
Some people say it's a debate. You know, I'm not one of those people, but some people say it's a
Hell
debate.
no.
I say we need to clear the air and just after the last dance, man. After you watch this documentary, the 10-part series, bro. If you don't realize the greatness that this man displayed, there's no reason in which you.
Man, dudes our age who think that Jordan ain't the GOAT, they just try to impress these kids in high school, man. That's all they trying to do. And you know, I know this is Too Smart Dummies territory, but we used to wear that Tyrell DVD Jordan to the max out watching that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man, Michael Jordan's playground, bro.
Yes, sir. Really, I always thought the argument was, hey, who's behind Jordan, LeBron or Kobe? And, you know, hey.
Man, they out here blatantly disrespecting Kobe.
I can't do it.
Top 10.
Well, you been, what? Boy, hey.
They said, when the ESPN came up with the rankings, man, Kobe was like 13, bro.
Boy, hey, you better not let your homies Spencer Hassan hear that. They got a lot. They gonna have a lot to say about that. But shout out to man H and you know him and Dro just had a beautiful baby boy, man. Shout out to the homie Spencer.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And we will be talking about Snowfall real soon.
Yes, sir.
Check it out.
Yes, sir.
Man, great series. There's season 4, season 5 about to drop. Shit's getting real. And if you don't know what it's about, it's about the crack epidemic.
Franklin Saint, baby.
Back in where it started out in L.A. and then just the madness, you know what I mean, that construes when the crack hits the streets, bro. This shit it's legit. It's a great show, man. And I hope they
Season 4 gang wars, man. That's what it's looking like.
Man, and I hope that they don't disappoint my man John Singleton.
Not at all. I don't think they will, man. I'm gonna be an optimist, man. I'm gonna have a shred of optimism. But anywho, man, a great show tonight. For the big homie, Sweet Lou, it's your guy KP. We out this thing. Later.
Yo, peace.